G'day fellas, and welcome to a casted game. Spawning in on the east side of the map, playing the colour purple is the English. He's back once again. We got Voldemar, 1902. And on the west side of the map, playing in the colour orange as the French, we've got Kaup. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to King of the Hill. We're here at the tail end of Season 3 for Age of Empires 4. We've had a little bit of a map update, and King of the Hill has joined the party, joined the fray. I'm looking forward to seeing how it goes, because this is a map that, I'll be honest, not particularly a fan of. It can be very dangerous. If you roll the dice on sheep, you get got. It can be really bad, and we can see right now, Voldemar, well, he's having an absolute field day. He's picked up plenty of sheep so far. Double scout opening for both of these players, so doing the right thing. And I'm definitely an advocate on this map, double scout. You want to do a double scout because you want to make sure that you cover both of these sides of your bases. If you don't cover both sides, there's a chance that, as an example, hypothetically, let's just say all the sheep spawn along this area here and along this area here. And what you do is, if you go one scout, you're going to move up towards this northern flank, right? And so your enemy, with their scout, their first scout, they're going to do the same thing. They're going to come up and they're going to clean up all of the sheep here, and then they're going to see your scout, they're going to run down into the middle, and their second scout is going to come around the bottom and clean up all the sheep down the bottom. And what can happen is that you can end up in a situation where you've got 3, maybe 4 sheep if you're lucky, and your enemy's sitting on 20 sheep, because they've rolled the dice and they've gotten a good spawn. They've made the right decision in going for two scouts. So going for a second scout on a map like this is very important, just because all the sheep typically very easy to find. And look at this, speaking of double scout, hold on a minute, we got a double scout. Whoa, the arrow almost takes him out. I reckon if he'd kept all the vills in there for one more volley, he might have actually got that. Wouldn't have been a super big deal. Obviously, it's still a pretty big deal, right? Losing a second scout, but this is a double scout opening here from Corp. Important to remember. Now, we'll call him Kaup. I'm not sure exactly how to pronounce it, but you guys know what I'm talking about. Now, if you guys want to check out their streams, I'm going to leave links in the description. Both of these guys do stream in English. I think both of them are actually from Germany. Not 100% sure, but yeah, both of them Conk 3 players, both top 100. Very solid players, so check them out. Leave a follow. They might even be live right now. Let them know that Drongo said g'day to him. And we'll get into the action, because Corp about to age up here. We can see he's gathering up quite a bit of gold here. Quite common as the French. Looking for that early wheelbarrow. By the same token as the English. We've got a quick age up coming through as well for Voldemar. Not messing around with any mills, no farms, no wheelbarrows. It's straight into the age up. And we do see the Council Hall coming out. So both players aging up at the same time. And there were 6 vills on that Council Hall. He was very bold, but he does fall away from that. Decides to actually go for the back side of the lumber camp. Now, I'm wondering whether we're going to start to see walls up here. One of the things I've loved a lot lately with the English is going for a fast castle. And I feel like in this matchup, it can really, really do a lot of work. Just because you go fast castle into knights, look to start challenging relics, look to try and take control of the sacred site, and by the time the French player can react, I mean, they're going to have to mix in spears, and they never want to have to do that, but it's going to be a long walk for them to do that. Ideally, the French, they want to just be playing their classic composition. Longbowman, I say longbowman, he's French. Archer and knight, that's going to be the key one. So hopefully we see a fast castle coming out from Voldemar today, just because I think that's probably the best way to play it. Obviously, you can play it the old classic Donati style, but I think you've got to be really good to do that. I remember back in the day watching Donati play English versus French, and keep in mind, he was like a top 20 player, and he was doing very well with it, but you've got to have great attention to detail like Don does. Voldemar, on the other hand, not quite top 20 just yet. He's working on it, though, and take a look at this. What is this stone that we've got? Is this a sneaky stone that Corp's going for right now? And we see it's obviously not a sneaky stone to us, because we know. And there's a double scout from the enemy, so I guess he's just fearful of the longbows. That's probably it, okay? We're worried about the longbow. So he might look to wall this here, and then take this stone, and then that guarantees that he's not going to be pressured at the front. So interesting style from Corp. Going to be going for a second town center in the opening here. I think it makes a lot of sense. Heading for a larger knight composition is normally the right thing to do. As the French, remember your win condition as the French is all about having that superiority to knights, or superiority of knights. Having more knights than what your opponent can deal with, and then rampaging through their base. And take a look at this. We've got Voldemar opening up with an early barracks, as you'd expect against any kind of cavalry civilization. We do have the first knight out on the field, and he's going to begin tracking it, heading down towards the south side of the map here. Can see the first charge is going to come through. It's actually managing to hit the scout. Gets a couple of shots off on it. Back over towards that east side, though. Can see the barracks now complete. The first of the spearmen going to be making their way out onto the field. Now remember, English spearmen, you don't have to get the upgrade for them. They're already hardened. I could put a joke in right now, but I'm not going to. I'm just going to walk away from it and let you guys imagine what could have been. We've got a small little army beginning to build up here for Voldemort. At the moment, though, this is all he wants. I like the fact that he's still sticking it out on gold. I think the question is whether he looks for more eco upgrades. And we do see double broadaxe. Double broadaxe is more of a sign that he's going to be playing for that feudal age. So the longer the feudal age goes, the better it gets for France. Remember that, because the best way to think about it is the French, the only thing they have to avoid with their knights are spearmen. Whereas for you as an English player, you've got to be killing your enemy archers with your longbows, and you've got to be making sure your spearmen are not dying to the enemy archers. There's a lot to do. But as the armies get bigger in the feudal age, the better it gets for the French player, because they don't care what they're really fighting. As they can fight men-at-arms, they can fight longbow, they can fight horsemen, they can fight spearmen as well, but they just prefer not to. And I'm going to say right now, is it just me, or does this orange just looks really good? I don't know, maybe it's the lighting on this map at the moment, but the orange color in particular looks great on these French knights. And we do see, at the moment, the wheelbarrow coming through for Corp. As we alluded to, that early wheelbarrow, 6 minutes 30. It's not the earliest of wheelbarrows. It's not bad, though. It's not bad. Second town center about to get dropped down. You can see he's just got the resources for it now. Where does he look to drop it? Is it going to be right here? It's going to go a bit safer, maybe on the wood line. Indeed, it's going to be the wood line. So the next thought comes down to food. Where's Corp getting his food from? Because if he's not putting the town center on food, where's he going with it? There's a great little avenue down here to the south side. Berries, as well as the deer. Could be an option for him a bit later. But for the moment, Voldemar going to be pushing out. A bit dangerous to be doing this. Now, what does Voldemar know about his enemy? I don't think he knows a whole lot. I think both of the scouts have been at home, so he doesn't know about the second town center. He definitely doesn't know about the second town center, actually. Very sneaky move there coming in with that. But we do see a villager gets picked up down the south. Wall not going to be going through at the moment. Unfortunately, didn't picket fence it. And it means that they're going to get through. Going to be rounding the corner here. Looking to try and push in towards the villagers on the wood line. But obviously, you know, we've got God vision. We know that there is nothing at all that is going to be coming in here. Worst case scenario, you just move the villagers up to the north spot. Knights do get repelled from the front line. Looks like a little bit of damage thrown out onto that longbowman. Maybe a charge at most. 29 damage. The math adds up. The math checks out. Look at this. The longbowman does spot the mining camp on the stone outcropping. That's going to tell him all he needs to know. That second town center getting spotted out here. Now Voldemar, it's going to come down to his reaction. Where does he go from here? What does he look to do? The correct decision in my book is 100% Castle Age. You've got to go Castle Age here. Don't mess around. You're playing up against two town center French. You can either match them in the feudal age, but the longer you stay in the feudal age, the worse it's going to get for you. It's better just not to play with fire. Scout now moving through on the backside, looking to try and spot out enemy units. Sees the spearman in the middle, and this should almost give Corp a bit of an indication. You see these units coming through the middle, and you're like, it still looks like he's making units here. I'm probably just going to have to make units myself. And that's the thing Corp's throwing up, right? Corp's like, do I want to age up here, or do I want to make units? And the truth is, the only way he's going to actually know this is if he checks the gold from the English player. Because if we go have a look at the gold right now, you'll see there's 8 villagers on it. And this tells you everything you need to know about the English plan. English, they're going for an age up to the feudal age, 2 to 3 vills. They're going for, you know, mining upgrades and all that other shenanigan. You know, that's 2 villagers on the gold. At most, English are keeping 3 vills on gold for their upgrades early on in the feudal age. As soon as you see this many vills on gold, that tells you exactly what the English player is up to. He's going castle. A nice little push out coming in. Defense at the same time. We do see the wall come through. Villager still staying alive out here. I was going to say this villager is has been alive for a long time, and it looks like it will go down though. So 1 vill picked up already from Voldemar. Not too bad. That's going to be the second one. Obviously, we did see earlier the villager going down towards this additional town center, and look at this. This is something you never want to have to do as the French at 9 minutes 40. The consequence of coming for this town center right here doesn't secure up the food. This is why I was sort of alluding to this spot here for the second town center. Because it secures berries, right? Like you can drop a mill here, drop a mill here. You got yourself some nice food. Bring the boar over. Now you've got an extra 2,000 food. So already you've got 4,000 food. And we can see 2, 4, 6 farms have been dropped down here. That's 450 wood. That's a lot of wood. That's 450 resources that could be going into an age up, could be going into units. So it's important to consider these things when you're looking for expansions. That's why we do so often see the Sankin Townsend going down on deer. Obviously, the closest deer patch here, not going to be really an option for him. Compare that over to the deer patch that we've got for Voldemar. It's on the lower ground. But we do see an age up about to come through for Voldemar here. Interestingly, all the vills have left the gold mine. Normally, you like to see lots of vills on the gold mine, especially in the transition. The number one thing I'm going to be expecting to see from Voldemar here in the transition period is going to be stables. I want to see stables getting added in. It's going to be imperative that he looks to transition into knights as soon as he can. King's Palace going to be going down. He actually drops it down right in the corner. Interesting decision for him to do this, but it's got very good coverage on the wood side of things. The next thing I'd love to see from Voldemar are walls. I'd love to see him start walling the front of his base, because now that he's got an age up through, what that means is that the French player knows, okay, I can push now and I can do damage. There's a good chance he doesn't have a lot of units out right now. He's just aged up. So you've always got to be careful playing that. And obviously the longer the game goes on for you as the English, the better it gets for you, right? Like you want to be playing the long game. So walling up, it just guarantees that you've got a little bit more integrity in that base defense. But at the same time, look at this. Corp under pressure. Still Voldemar pushing out. And I don't think he really minds losing this. I mean, longbow and spearman isn't a composition that you're going to play a lot as the English after the Feudal Age. Might see a resurgence in the Imperial Age up against the French, but the main focus is going to be men-at-arms, longbowmen, knights, those sorts of units. And we do see the age up now comes through. How does Corp look to react? Does he look for a counterattack? Does he look to go up himself? And we see the knights immediately moving. He's looking for a raid. Taking a look now at the base of Voldemar. What do we see? Any stables being dropped down? Nothing at the moment for him. The other thing that we're going to be keeping an eye on is the monastery. We're going to expect to see a monastery up shortly. The sooner you can take that sacred site, the sooner you begin it ticking. And of course, working towards a sacred victory. He could be looking to try and drop a keep on the sacred site as well. We don't see any stone being gathered up at the moment. Do keep an eye on that. There's the monastery getting dropped down now, and a distinct lack of stables coming up for him here. The key with the stables is looking for map control, but I guess realistically on a map like this, it's a little bit smaller than your standard map. Technically, it is the same size. But when you consider the fact that there's a forest this deep on both sides of the map, really brings things in, doesn't it? And now all of a sudden, we've got a bit of a push coming out from our French player. Archer's moving towards the middle. I think he's trying to contest the sacred site. Fearful that his enemy may look to take it, may even look to secure up a keep on this sacred site. Just forcing him back. Scouts are being kept with both of the armies, so they know where each other are. A real engagement. No knight numbers. Only 3 knights out at the moment for our French player. So definitely not a huge worry. Still no stables coming up at the moment. This is... I'm scratching my head right now, I assure you. But we'll see what he's got in store for us. Checking in over with Corp. Age up looks like it might be coming through. How many villas have we got on gold? 11 villages on gold. That is exactly what you'd expect to see when that age up's coming through. Still got lots of farms that he's added in. Has secured up the boar towards the north. Maybe even expect to see a mill come down soon. More vills may move up this way. How many vills does he have on wood at the moment? Only 5 vills. Oh, he's moving vills out to the middle. That's why. I'm wondering where are all of his villages, because it says he's got 54 vills. So the outpost's going to get dropped down here. Beautiful music as well. I love the music in Age of Empires 4. I don't think I've ever had music better music than this. Actually, I don't know if you guys played this game, and I might be exposing myself here as a bit of a nerd. He says while casting a strategy game in 2022 from the comfort of his own home. Arcade. Arcade was an MMORPG, and it had some of the most amazing music I've ever listened to. I still go back and listen to the soundtrack for that game. I just remember like farming in Arcade, like planting, what did I plant? I think I planted like pine trees or something like that, trying to get thunderstrucks. And I just remember hearing that beautiful sound, and it reminds me a lot of that sound. Same sort of melody, the same sort of instruments being used, and we now see Voldemar spotting out that wall. He says, hey, you ain't gonna go for it, but he looks for a picket fence. It's not gonna happen. Villagers get taken out. He loses 2 on the front line. Outpost gonna be the only thing standing up on this front side. We do see veterancies beginning to come through, and the knights finally making their way in. Royal Institute coming through for Corp. Now remember, the key thing here is Corp doesn't have a lot of knights. So the value that he's going to be getting from the Royal Institute immediately, it's not that big. One of the things you love to see French do is go for that heavy knight amount and then move into the Royal Institute, look to get royal bloodlines as soon as they can, and then really try and convert that into a nice early Castle Age victory. Jumping inside the outpost, he's going to be looking to try and take out the spearmen here. Now keep in mind, there's a lot of longbow on the backside. Not a lot of spearmen. He's just focusing down the spearmen for the moment. He's going to have to fall back here, but longbow's doing a really decent job. Continuing to siege that down. We do see a knight now from our English player. Looking to try and mess with his enemy. The first of the outpost goes down. A lot of the archers have lost their lives here. No +1 coming through on these units for either player. Blacksmith is through, though, for Corp, at the very least. An arrow slits comes through, as well as the age up now. Royal Institute is in. What text do we see? There's not a whole lot of gold in the bank at the moment. Primary fight here. It's going to be over the central sacred site. We can see these longbow masses just absolutely destroying. When I see this many longbows, I'm almost tempted to suggest mangonel. I think mangonels, at this point, trying to deal with this, I mean, knights are obviously good, but in this position, your enemy's undoubtedly going to be looking to capture up this sacred site in the next 60 to 90 seconds. You know that they're Castle Age. You know they've got knights out. You know the relics are starting to disappear from the minimap. Expect to see that monk coming through any second. Where is it? Where is it? I can smell him. There he is down there. He's got some pretty bad body odor if I can smell him that far away. Oh, there you go. There you go. Did you see that? There it is. Looking to now take that sacred site. Very smart move here by Voldemar. So I'd be saying to Corp, hey, think about dropping down a siege workshop. Think about getting out a mangonel here. Still play the knights. I think the knights are still fine because they work well with the mangonel. But it's just going to be infantry and cavalry that he's going for. Not really looking into siege at the moment. I guess having invested in such a large food economy, be resistant to the concept or the idea that siege might be appropriate here. Now those longbowmen pushing up. Look at the way some of them are carrying their bows. This is how I carry my bow as well. I always draw my string behind my shoulder. I find it just works a lot better, a lot more effective when dealing with French people especially. But we hear the first of the sacred sites being captured up. Of course, it is the only sacred site on this map. King of the Hill. Who will be the king? Who will be the hill? Me personally, I want to be a school bus. But we do see the longbows taking out plenty of the knights on the front line. They're just slicing through them. Obviously, no ranged armor. It's really going to hurt Corp, and I'm starting to wonder, where are Corp's army? He's in a really tough spot here. Sacred site is being taken. But Voldemar now pushing through. Going to be able to take out villagers from all over the shop. Look at this. Longbowmen come through. Hey, if you've ever wondered what overkill is, you've just learned what overkill is. That is overkill right there. How many longbows have we got? 28 longbows, veterans by the way, with +1, one-shotting villagers. That's kill confirmed. These guys don't even have their textiles or ranged armor for that matter. Outpost does get up. Springwood emplacement going to be coming through. Villagers going to be making for a run for it. We see the gate getting thrown down. Could there be knights coming through on this side? And look at this, look at this, look at this. He knows exactly what's up. He's heading down towards his position. He knows there's going to be vills down here. They're making a... Oh no. He's going to walk right in on top. 1 vill down, 2 vills down, 3 vills down, 4 vills down, 5 vills down. These beautiful micro coming out from Voldemar here. The vills escape to the country. Fortunately for him. Oh, look at this, just looking to wall up the relics, try and keep himself safe in this bottom corner. Very smart move from Corp. Look at the vill count. 66 versus 65. The longer this game goes, the better it gets for the English. He's taken out 23 villagers this game. That's a huge amount of villagers. Think about it right now. Corp could be sitting on 90 villagers. Be impressive if he had that many, but unfortunately he's just lost so much. Now the longbow's going to be looking to siege down this palisade gate in the south. He's looking for another way in, another way through. Holding that central sacred site. 9 minutes. It does tick. We see armor cladding looking to come in as well. Definitely feel like Corp needs to be moving into a knight heavier composition. Still no siege coming out for him, at least at this point. No siege workshop. Walls coming up on all corners of the map. Remember that siege workshop's going to get great value, because if your enemy does look to keep up the center, you're going to be able to move into a trebuchet very easily, very quickly. But nice little cleanup here. Exactly what he needs. Keep in mind there's plenty of units down here to the south. This army is looking very formidable right now for Voldemar. And the keep does come down. So I am once again asking for a siege workshop with a mangonel. Thank you. And he hides it in the back. Very, very well done. This is great to hide it in the back, because it's going to mean that if Voldemar does look to try and scout out what his enemy's up to, that buys him a little bit more time to deny the scout. It's also going to guarantee the integrity of that siege workshop if he's getting pushed. Whereas if you put it on the front line, then it's going to mean that the mangonel's on the front line, and maybe there's knights on top of it, and you need to get that mangonel out in a jiffy. And, you know, maybe the siege workshop's burning down. So I'm always going to advocate for this kind of siege workshop. This is a really smart siege workshop. So hopefully he goes for a mangonel first. He's actually got the resources for the mangonel. Counterweight trebuchet could be in play. He's unaware of the keep. At least I suspect he's unaware of the keep. He can't see it in his line of sight at the moment. He would probably know that it's coming up. And we do see it is going to be a mangonel. Reflected in the UI at the top of the screen now. Look at the military mass here. The might. But remember, as soon as Voldemar gets that keep up, he's going to be able to make Springolds from it. And not only that, but he's also gone for a siege workshop. So he's going to be really looking to invest heavily in defending the sacred site. And as you would, as the name suggests, you want to be the king of the hill. You don't want to be the prince of the hill. You don't want to be the queen of the hill, especially now after she's dead. You want to be the king of the hill. Rest in peace. What's the other thing people say? Is it Vali? Something like that? Anyway. Vale? I always used to read it in emails that I'd get at work. It'd be like somebody, you know, we'd have like 15,000 staff at work, and somebody would die, you know, every second day. And you'd always get those emails like, this person contributed this much and did this much. We thank them for their service. And like Vale. Anyway, I move forward. I digress. We do see it's going to be Springolds coming out. We've also got, look at this, Network of Citadels upgrade coming through. The longbow defensive is arriving today. And now Cal going to be building that defense. 6 minutes to go. You want to try and go early, if possible, on the sacred site, but at the same time, you got to pick your fights. And Arbalatrier coming in as well. Watch out for that Pavis shield. I don't know if you guys saw it on Reddit. There's this post. It's like, I don't know if this is intended, but Arbalatrier have like plus 50 armor, and it feels like it's a lot. It's like, yeah, that is a lot. Don't worry. Siege Workshop coming up as well. He's looking to move this one a bit closer. Second Mangonel is out. Expect to see double Treb going to be the next round. Maybe even some Springolds, actually, to try and deal with the enemy Springolds. Just keep in mind, once those Springolds are out and poking about, he's going to need something to respond to it. And he does spot the Springolds through the line of sight on that central sacred site. Wall coming up at the front. Definitely a wise choice going for this wall. Because remember, you can always chuck a gate in it, and you can walk through it, but your enemy can't. It's going to buy you a little bit of time, a little bit of space. But remember, at the end of the day, it's always going to come down to that sacred site. Less than 6 minutes to go. He's looking to try and wall it up. Where are those longbows? They're right there. Look at that. They're right on that front side. That's a big mass as well. 55 longbows. I mean, this is... Often we talk about the English defense, and there we see the Citadel, or the network of Citadels coming through. These longbowmen are firing an attack every 1.25 seconds. That is very fast with that bonus. An extra 50%. Maybe we should talk about that, because that seems crazy. I don't know about you guys, but I've been feeling the English might actually be the best civ at the moment. Obviously, the Chinese, they were numero uno for about 2 weeks. Probably a bit more than that. Maybe about 4 weeks until they got nerfed. But I feel like the English the English are like the safest civ, really strong defensive civilization. They don't really have a bad matchup anymore, right? And they have good matchups against all of the civs at the top. Like good matchups against English, good matchups against English, obviously. Good matchup against China, good matchup against Mongols. So it's like this civilization, it's one of those cases where it's like, it's a strong civ because the other civs at the top that are strong are bad against it. Take a look at this. We got 16 vills moving forward. We're going to enter into the cinematic mode as this keep. It wants to get up pretty badly. Knight's going to be moving out. Mangonel firing off towards the backside. First of the Mangonels does go down. Springald's going to be looking to try and trade out here. Looks like the shot's going to be not too bad, but the longbowman numbers. Look at the longbowman numbers that keep providing plenty of bonuses to the network of Citadels, and he's focusing down the villages. Look at this. He does not want these to get up. Mangonel shot comes through. And where is the army for Corp at this point in time? The defense of the hill. Look at that. Voldemar just sweeps in. Not a single chance for Corp. Very well played from Voldemar. That defense was rock solid. We've had a couple of references throughout this game. I'll leave that one with you once again. Go check out Corp. Go check out Voldemar. I'll leave links in the description. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Thank you for watching. And look at those vills strolling in. They had no chance.